This week in Hypixel Skyblock, a few things happened, and in this video I'll be covering most of them. The admins finally released the 4 artists aboard city project. And yeah, they just changed the obtaining methods for certain dyes. And every year the drop chance of certain dyes will now be buffed. You can also get a new talisman by giving dyes to Vincent, who can be found here. The type of talisman you get depends on the type of dye you give. You can also check out all the dyes in Skyblock through Vincent. And if you haven't already noticed, there are some new dyes. And all the old dyes now use head skins instead of vanilla textures. Honestly, I'm not really too interested in this update, but if you want to know more about it, watch the video linked in the description. But here's why the admins wanted this update to happen. According to them, they didn't want late game players to become an annoyance to early game players. Which is why, instead of the redstone pigment, the brick red dye now drops from the tarantula broodfather. So yeah, they want to make dyes more accessible and less annoying to get, especially for Iron Man. Some changes have been made to the catacombs. The blaze puzzle will now appear starting from floor 3 instead of 2. It also seems they've changed the icefill room a bit, as it now has a second chest spawn and will only show up in floor 7 now, probably because they need to balance bomb diffuse being removed. They also nerfed the Shadow Assassin chestplate, and its strength no longer stacks. You no longer need arrows to shoot the spirit bow. Yeah, some mining changes. There's now a pet rule for entering the glaciate tunnels. Your pickaxe cooldown now resets when entering the glaciate mineshaft. Also, the chunky slime has been removed from the deep caverns. You can now use the /set max speed command on rancher boots to set your max speed. You can now claim all coins from sell orders in the bazaar with just one click. You can now salvage your items from all the essence shops. They finally added worm membranes to the fishing sack. They also added bold blazes. Killing pests in the garden reduces visitor wait time by 30 seconds. Also, farming axes can now be found in the tools section instead of weapon. You can now buy infinite blaze powder from the alchemist. Also, the T5 rev is now better for combat XP, I think. They also added a 1000 per island limit to item frames, and if your island has more than 1000 of them, the empty ones will get removed. They also fixed some bugs, like the auger rod breaking ice in the glaciate mineshaft. You can also no longer apply golden bounties to fishing rods. The Midas staff now works on magma cube riders. Pests no longer spawn in unclean plots. Makes sense. Apart from that, the update also adds some major issues. Basically, they'd made ditto skinned items auctionable, and some players decided to be a little too creative. They put the symbol of that one cat in the auction house. Also, I learned this one from Derailious, but the admins decided to reset the server during a mining fiesta, completely ruining the routes for a lot of players, making them lose millions. And obviously, people were really frustrated, especially considering the fact that glossy gemstones were already rare in the first place. So thank you, Hypixel. Also, last week I talked about an item dupe, but turns out I had been lied to. But don't worry, the segment has been removed, and I've made sure the person who lied to me will face repercussions. So yeah, if you plan on lying to me again, the segment is not the only thing that will get removed. Okay, I'll stop. Apart from that, there was also a wipe with fan. Now it could just be me getting bamboozled again, because I can't test it as it's already been patched. But based on the video sent to me, I haven't seen any quick cuts, and the time doesn't really change by a lot. Also, this guy, Demon Unscripted, dropped 2 aquamarine dyes at once. Now I don't really know how it happened, but according to the sender, it was cause of the blessing enchant. Also, if you find such interesting stuff, feel free to post the stuff on the things happen section on my Discord. I'll honestly be more than happy to cover them. Also, here's some news related to future content. Now, this is mostly just the approach the admins are gonna be taking. So if you just wanna see what they plan on adding, feel free to skip to the next segment. Now, we all know that the Foraging update will be using the latest version of Minecraft. and it seems that it will be true for other future content as well, like the fishing update. In the next section, Planky talks about Spygot and how they evolved it into their own version, Hygot, which allowed them to use various new version features like colored boss bars and glow effects. But it wasn't incorporating a lot of new Minecraft version features, and they simply couldn't use the latest version of Spigot because it needs a lot of modifications. Essentially, it's like building Hypixel from scratch. So they've decided to keep upgrading their custom Hygot. They've also said that they've actually added 30,000 lines of unused code to the server, ready to be used in the future, like new potion effects, attributes, armor trims, and a lot more. And they've also got 70,000 lines of code ready to be added to the server, including dual wielding. So yeah, the latest version could actually be really good, as they can add a bunch of new features, including dual wielding. Also, if you want to know if the latest version is really laggy on lower machines, I recommend watching an older vid where I tested this very thing. Now the admins have provided a bunch of leaks for the Foraging update, including a new screenshot with some new tree textures, new mobs like fishes, frogs, and turtles. They also made it so that you can use all attributes at once instead of selecting specific ones, which might be less annoying. Now if you don't already know, once the Foraging update drops, these attribute shards will be used to buff your own stats and not items. Also, Hypixel has been planning on releasing an official texture pack for a long time now, and they've actually shown us some new menu and UI changes, and honestly this makes Hypixel look like a proper MMORPG. Also, they added a thing. Now here's some fun stuff from the community. Firstly, the guy who hadn't dropped a single alloy for over 2400 runs has finally dropped not one, not two, but 3 alloys within less than 100 runs. So yeah, if you have a gambling addiction, get help. Real life is much crueler than this. I found the most ergonomic setup of all time. You either wake up to 1,000,000 coins or you don't wake up. This guy dropped the first ever dung dye. Sheepskin prices are insane. They don't even look that good. This guy got sharpness 7 but has a cringe mouse. The first guy wants some organic matter. For some reason, someone accidentally sold their golden dragon for 690,000 coins. Also, here's a flowchart by Yadi on how one should progress in Skyblock if you want maximum pain. And honestly, it really puts into light the state of the game, where you need to spend at least 600 hours to unlock over half of the content. If you watched the video, thank you for watching more videos like this. Click on the left, watch more videos.